So apparently, according to certain people, Liverpool Football Club are about to become the worst Premier League champions in the history of England's top flight division. Big up to everybody that's watching this video. Hit the like button and subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in the comment section below on this topic of conversation at hand. Would love to know what you guys are thinking and feeling about this topic. So please do get involved. And without further ado, we're going to get onto the conversation ourselves. Liverpool Football Club are about to become the worst Premier League champions in the history of the Premier League. That is what a lot of people have been pushing in recent days. This is an agenda and a notion that has been gaining more and more traction in recent days. And I, for one, find it absolutely hysterical. I find it absolutely crazy. I find it nonsensical that this is being pushed out there. But that is the nature of some bitter and deluded fan bases out there that are genuinely saying that this is the truth. Now, as a Liverpool fan, I encourage all Liverpool fans to simply ignore this, enjoy the success that we are about to receive, and enjoy this incredible Premier League title, because at the end of the day, we are champions. We are champions for a reason, and whether you're considered the worst champions of all time or the best, you are still champions at the end of the day. You are still on a pretty much level playing field. You've still won the same trophy as everybody else. Years and years ago, this trophy used to mean something. Winning this used to mean something. It was seen as winning one of the most difficult leagues in world football. But now all of a sudden, because Liverpool have won it, oh no, they're the worst Premier League champions of all time. Now, granted, there still is a little bit more work to do. Maybe that will happen tonight if Palace beat Arsenal and help Liverpool wrap up the title then. Or maybe Liverpool wrap up the title themselves on Sunday against Spurs. Or maybe in the other 4 games that are still to be played after that one on Sunday. Either way, it's inevitable that Liverpool are going to win the title. And it's going to be massive. It's going to be monumental. It's going to be significant as well, because not only are we going to be celebrating the Premier League title properly this time around, because 5 years ago we couldn't because of COVID, we are going to obviously equal Man United's 20th league title record, which is going to be huge for Liverpool Football Club as it is. So there's a lot of reasons to celebrate. There's a lot of reasons to get giddy and to get excited about what is going to play out for the rest of this season. But yet, there are certain fans out there that are annoyed by this, that are disgruntled by this. And we've heard them all season because they've been pushing out agendas left, right and centre. Liverpool Football Club were not expected to win the Premier League title this season. Even the most deluded of Liverpool fans probably did not expect Liverpool to win a Premier League title this season, because we didn't know what to really expect. Jurgen Klopp's departure, Arne Slot coming in, a lot of people expected us to be, at best, involved in a top 4 battle. I myself predicted Liverpool to be in a title race, but would dwindle at some point during the season, and it would just be a 2-horse race between City and Arsenal again. But as it's turned out, Liverpool have gone on to have a phenomenal season. They've exceeded any and all expectations. They've left people lying in the mud on their predictions, with Liverpool falling off so catastrophically this season that I think a lot of their bitterness has risen to the surface, and that is why we've been hearing these terrible, terrible agendas all season long. Because all season, as a Liverpool fan, I've been hearing Liverpool haven't faced anyone good yet. Liverpool will drop points here, they'll drop points there, they'll bottle the league here, they will bottle this here and there and everywhere. And then, when Liverpool kept on winning, when Liverpool went from strength to strength, when Liverpool put together a 26-game unbeaten run in the Premier League, something that not even, I don't think, City managed to achieve during their dominance of the Premier League in English football, all of a sudden it was the Premier League standard is on the floor. This is the worst Premier League standard we've ever seen. The worst Premier League season we've ever seen. That was what came out as soon as Liverpool went from strength to strength. Let me put it this way, and let me say it loud and clear. Your poor season, your poor standards have no overall bearing on Liverpool whatsoever, whether it be in the past, whether it be in the present, or whether it be in the future. The same way that if Liverpool's poor season in years to come or in years gone by had no bearing on anybody else in that league whatsoever. Because the agendas have been so terrible all season. They have been a laughingstock. We've heard agendas all season about how the David Coote situation played out and how the PGMOL had wanted Liverpool to win the league because of that. We heard that conspiracy. We heard how VAR and refereeing standards have benefited Liverpool and it is a PGMOL trophy. We heard how God has been a Liverpool fan all season with the amount of injuries that other teams have picked up. They're all laughable. These things are all laughable. You need a little bit of good fortune at times to become champions. We all know that. We've all seen that. But rather than rival teams, rival fan bases, look at their own clubs, rather than analyse their own club, look at their own shortcomings and failures and point the finger there and say, well, this wasn't right. We should have done more here. We shouldn't have lost that game. We shouldn't have drew this game. We should have held our nerve here. We should have done more in the transfer window. Whatever the case may be, they don't do that. They instead look over at the success of Liverpool and try and dilute and water it down. They try and extinguish that fire. And they make these strange and weird agendas and notions and things of that nature like what we are talking about here. Because like I keep saying, the standard of your season has no overall bearing on the standard of Liverpool. Liverpool went from strength to strength. Maybe things may have been a little bit different had there been a bit more competition. Would Liverpool have held their nerve more in certain moments? You can maybe argue that point. But overall, Liverpool still did enough to become Premier League champions. They may not have played the most scintillating or their best football at times this season. It may not have been the most entertaining team to watch this season. But you'd argue that the most entertaining team in the Premier League is Tottenham. And look at where they are right now. Liverpool were efficient. Liverpool were a machine this season. Liverpool got the business done when it mattered most. And again, that has no overall bearing on your own club's shortcomings and failures across the entirety of this campaign. It really, really does not. And then that bleeds in to the standard of the Premier League. Because what followed after all the comments about Liverpool bottling it, all the comments about Liverpool dropping points here, dropping points there, even Liverpool losing in multiple competitions, dropping out of all other competitions. And don't get me wrong, I am annoyed at the fact that we didn't do better in the Champions League and got knocked out by PSG. I am annoyed at the fact that we got knocked out of the FA Cup by, of all clubs, Plymouth Argyle. And I am annoyed at the fact that we didn't display a better showing of ourselves at Wembley in the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle. No shame in losing to Newcastle, but the way that we did was humiliating and embarrassing. I'm annoyed about that. But what came next was an agenda of, well, Liverpool have only won a Premier League title this season. It's not that special, is it? Considering we only made one acquisition in the summer to a team that last season finished third is a miraculous and incredible achievement by Arne Slot. A manager who deputised in the Premier League this season, took charge of Liverpool in his first season and has already led them to a Premier League title. That is still special, in my opinion. That is still incredible. And for the reasons I explained before in terms of being able to celebrate and, of course, equaling Man United's league title record, that is still special. But no, apparently Liverpool are the only club in world football to ever be expected to win more than one trophy in a season, apparently. It baffles the mind, and it's very, very strange to me. But then when that kind of dwindled, it's the standard of the Premier League. It's on the floor. It's the worst it's been ever. And not only that as well, but now it's Liverpool are going to become the worst Premier League champions in history. I don't understand how you can become the worst Premier League champions in history. And when I look at the standard of the Premier League, yes, you can maybe argue that individual talent is not quite as on display as what it has been in previous years. You can maybe argue that the standard of football has become more robotic and systematic, more instruction-based. And maybe you can blame, or if you like that kind of football, praise Pep Guardiola especially for making it that way. But I would argue the overall package of a football club has grown in recent years. Now, if you were to have an argument that maybe this has not been the most entertaining of Premier League seasons, I would agree with you. The Premier League title was done by the turn of the year. The relegation battle was done pretty much a few months ago, in terms of the newly promoted teams going straight back down to the Championship for the following campaign. But in terms of the standard of football, I'd argue that we have got a good standard. We've got a system now that is, or a league now in which anybody can beat anybody. You're getting a stronger middle of the pack, which if things continue the way that they are, may put the league in good stead for years to come, of maybe having more challenges for the Premier League title, maybe having more challenges for European and especially Champions League places. I would argue that the league is in a pretty decent shape, considering you've got teams like Newcastle that have really come on leaps and bounds, and especially this season with winning a Carabao Cup and of course trying to obtain Champions League football for next season. You've got Aston Villa that have really handled Champions League and a very good FA Cup run this season, as well as trying to get back into next season's Champions League. You've got Nottingham Forest, who are having an unbelievable campaign this season. Fulham have been going strong. Bournemouth have been going strong. Like I say, you can argue that the gap between the Premier League and the Championship has never been wider, but above all that, there are teams that are starting to establish themselves more and more in this division, and what you are seeing now is a season that is becoming more and more unpredictable, in my personal opinion. The football may have declined in terms of individual talent, but in terms of overall, there are better teams out there. You may argue you don't like the systematic stuff, fine, fair enough, but in terms of the way that results are going, they are more unpredictable than ever, in my personal opinion. That's just the way that I see things. And not only that as well, but when you look at our second best team in the Premier League right now in Arsenal, knocked out the second best team in La Liga, in the Champions League, in Real Madrid. When you look at the fact that both Manchester United and Tottenham are having absolutely abysmal seasons, and yet they are through to a Europa League semi-final. It can't be that bad. Surely it can't be that bad. Especially considering the poor seasons that United and Tottenham are having. What does that say about the other leagues? I don't think the standard is on the floor. I don't think the standard is that bad. And in fact, I will say this. Liverpool currently on 79 points. The season that Leicester won the title, they won it with 81 points at the end of the season. At the end of the campaign the season before, Chelsea won it with 87. City won it the year before with 86. 89 for United in Sir Alex Ferguson's final year, in which a lot of people claimed was the worst Man United team of his very, very, very long reign. In the 2007-2008 season, the season in which United were incredible, the season in which a lot of people said was probably one of United's best teams, best squads in their history, United won the season with 87 points. In 1999, United's treble winning season, they won it with 79 points. In the season that Blackburn won it, in I believe 1995, they won it with 89 points. Now granted, they had to play 4 more games than what we do now, but even so, still a very respectable high total, and a total, by the way, which in general is what a large number of Premier League champions kind of hit by the end of the campaign. Stop trying to belittle, extinguish, dilute and water down Liverpool's Premier League title campaign, title winning season, because your own clubs have shortcomings and failures that you refuse to acknowledge and address yourselves. Because nobody was saying that the standard of the Premier League was poor during City winning the Premier League title 4 times in a row. An unprecedented 4 times in a row that has never been achieved since, never been achieved before, and will probably never be achieved going forward. No one was saying that when City became Centurions that the Premier League season was at its worst. No one was saying that when Leicester won the league title. But all of a sudden, because Liverpool are, all of these agendas are reaching the surface. And it's a laughable, nonsensical agenda, notion and statement that is being put out there. And not only that as well, but I will say that you are making a rod for your own back if you continue to put out these notions. Because in years to come, let's say your club goes on to win the title in as convincing fashion as what Liverpool have done this season. Be expected to either hold the same opinion you do now or be a hypocrite. Because if, say, Arsenal fans as prime example, if they were to put out this notion that Liverpool are being the worst Premier League champions because of how no one else has really challenged them, then be prepared for if that eventual reality does happen to you, that people will say the same thing about you. And you will have to either acknowledge it and accept it, or be a hypocrite and go back on what you were saying about Liverpool. Liverpool are about to become Premier League champions for a 20th time. I can't wait for that to happen. Don't listen to these kinds of agendas. Don't listen to these kinds of ridiculous and nonsensical statements. They make absolutely no sense whatsoever. They are created by bitter and angry rival fans that are just angry at their own team. They're not angry at Liverpool, really. They are just angry that either their own predictions didn't come true about Liverpool, or they are angry that their own club could not measure up this season. Liverpool's season has no, or anybody else's season had no bearing on Liverpool's season, and likewise the other way around. Liverpool's season had no bearing on anybody else's. This is not a PGMOL 1 season. This is not a act of God type of season with the amount of injuries that have occurred. This is nothing short of Liverpool being incredible and the others not so much. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new. Both things will always be very greatly appreciated. And, of course, I encourage you all to, like I say, get involved in the comments section below. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you all for your continued or brand new support to the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll soon speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.